on the main one set on 73.
Yeah.
You don't see our house at
Yeah.
all. But, because that was the original house we bought with the land, but we never wanted to live in that.
Yeah.
And so we rented it for 41 years.
Oh, yeah. But it's like, to me, we that is not sustainable.
Well, it isn't because I'm using myself as an example. I go technically, my new house, which I have the homestead, should be frozen.
You're recording. That's Penny.
And I said,
That's Penny. My phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, folks, we're live.
We're live.
We're live. The password was different, I guess. But we figured it out.
Sandra is emceeing.
I am Sandra
Thank
is
you.
emceeing. Thank you. All right, this is the nominating committee, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 4:33. Sue Snow has broken her foot and is waiting for surgery or information about surgery, so she won't be with us today. And I think we have Penny is there and Paul's iPhone.
And who is Paul? Because we need to say who is attending the meeting.
Yeah, I'm going. Paul, are you there?
Paul?
Yes, I think I'm muted or was trying to be muted.
Okay.
What is your, Paul, who are you,
Yeah.
please?
Dominic Paul DiMaggio, 306 Island Road.
306 Island Road. Thank you.
Yeah, Spruce Head.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And Penny Allen is there. Okay, we are continuing on our conversation about nominations for the Board of Directors for the 501c3, the South Thomaston Library and Community Center Auxiliary Committee. And the first item on our agenda is, well, are there any changes in the agenda that you are aware of?
No.
no,
Okay, and then approval of the March 6th minutes.
I make a motion that the minutes be approved.
And I would second.
Okay, so the minutes on all those, any discussion? Anybody have anything to say? We will, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Okay, approved. Okay, in the old business, I wanted just to go over the clarification of the nominating committee's members' roles primarily. There was some confusion about whether this was a town committee, a subcommittee, a working group, various nomenclature for it. And I did talk with John Spear about it on a phone call this past month, and he has said basically, I mean, it's kind of an unusual thing that we're doing, but he has said basically we should run as if it is a committee, you know, a bona fide committee, and err on the side of caution and do all the regular steps, post the meetings, do the Zoom access, run it like a regular meeting, do the minutes, post the minutes. So therefore, we're going to continue to operate in that format. I think, you know, where Penny didn't want to be in part of this committee was certainly her prerogative. And at some point in the future, that if that changed, that would be fine. The whole idea was that we were trying to follow the bylaws, which said that the select board was going to assign a certain number to members of the board of directors. We would be trying to locate 3, and the librarian would be nominating 1. And the idea was to work together, so we weren't repeating each other's efforts and asking the same people more than once or forgetting somebody else in our list. So that's just a piece of information. I don't know if you have any thoughts about any of that. Okay. And then we were looking at demographics, which I've taken some of off of the internet. And then I think this comes out of one of the people that Ellen Jorgensen wanted more information about who we are serving. And so thinking about presenting to future board members or donors or anybody that we speak to, what are the demographics? And so we have, it depends on which website you get on, the numbers change, but it's around 1,600 is our current population. And
A question.
yeah,
Are they now counting 2022? Because the census in 2020 was 1511, I believe, or 1503. We were down 3%
Yeah.
from the previous census.
this was a recent one,
And this looks more like our old number.
1622.
Yeah, from 10 years ago. I'm just
I know,
asking the
but
question.
this was a fairly recent number, and
So I think we should put the source on the number.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll put the source on here.
Source and date, yeah.
Source and date, okay. I think that the percentages are about the same, regardless of what the number is. It's about 16% under the age of 18, 48% between 19 and 60. That makes a lot of sense, right? And 38% over the age of 60. So median age being 48.9, and I don't think that's changed too much in any of the sources that I looked at. Then these 2021 numbers, I didn't add them all up, but that I was, trying to find distribution that was a little bit different from the,
Sounds reasonable.
I mean, it's not that far off. Housing units, 818 housing units. We have 56 high school students this year in South Thomaston, 40 middle school students, 82 pre-K to grade 5, and 4 homeschool students that are registered. So they're supposed to be registered. And that's pretty much mirrors what, I think what we're looking at above. So as I said, every source I looked at was slightly different depending on who it was and when it was. So I guess my question is then should this information, when we're approaching board members, potential board members, do you think they need to have this information, or what do we do with this information?
I think it's a good idea. I'm always for more information. So I think it'd be a good one to put.
Yes,
into the-
and it should inform, the rooms, what are the potential activity, given the population served. I mean, if we see that we have definitely a lot, older population, that,
So,
Yeah, who we're serving.
yeah.
So I will get as close to the most recent population data that I can find. If it's census, it's going to be 2020.
20 years. And I'm
Okay,
pretty
so I
sure
thought
that 2020 was 1,500.
yeah. Anyway, so I will look for that, and we'll include that in the packet for the board of
Yes.
directors. Let's see. Is there any other? Okay, so before we go into executive session, I just wanted to. I gave more of this. I met. It's really more for the big facility committee, not so much for us, but it does have some information for us on it, I think, in terms of how to proceed a little bit around the board. Layla Murphy is a campaign strategist and advisor that helped Liz Jenkins at AIO, and she's lovely, and she do as much as you can. Her main message was do as much as you can before you have to hire somebody. But she did say that after the board is formed, mean, she's all for ambassador group meetings and all of that, but after the board is formed, she encouraged us to have a public Q&A meeting, you know, with the board as the head of that meeting. So I think that was an interesting piece of information that I hadn't thought about. And as you start to look through this, you'll see about big donors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to bring this to tomorrow's meeting, but I think we're going to have plenty of business tomorrow night.
Yes, I really want us to get going with the final.
Yeah, I think we should focus on that. And okay, I think, let's see, I think that's it before we start to talk about board members. Penny and Paul, we are going to go into executive session. Is there anything you would like to say at this point?
No, thank you for letting me attend. I will see y'all later.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I did check with John and I am allowed to attend executive session by Zoom.
Okay, so you're going to stay for executive session?
Yes,
Well, I have a problem with that because John didn't inform us. And
I believe that Sandy talked to him about it. And they had the executive session at their last meeting that John attended by Zoom.
But if you're not a member of the committee, that's where I have the.
Yeah, what I had understood is that you had taken yourself off of this committee, Penny. So what, I don't understand.
I did not, I am here. I am on, I am attending your meetings of the subcommittee at
Well, it's also-
request of Blackboard. I don't see much point of it if I'm whatever. I will be talking to
Well,
John this
My
because
opinion, Penny, is.
I'm
you
sorry.
can't persuade. You said you don't want to participate, so the whole point of you being in the committee is for you to put forward some names. If you're not gonna do that, you said you were taking yourself out of that committee, therefore.
no, I did not want to vote on the minutes, that I didn't feel that where I had not been allowed to be a voting member of the original committee, that I should be a voting member of this committee. Doesn't mean I don't get my nomination. That's totally separate. That belongs to the director of the Library Community Center. That is why the select board asked me to attend these meetings.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't. This meeting, the nominating committee is for everybody identified in the bylaws to nominate people so we could work together as a group. And so we're sharing information about citizens, but that means that everybody is also promoting candidates for the board of directors. And you said you weren't going to nominate anybody for
No,
the board.
I said I had no nominees at this time. Is what I said exactly.
Go ahead, Maura.
That's not what I heard, but that's beside the point. But if you're in South Thomaston, you should be here at this meeting and not doing it by Zoom. If you're out of the.
I have to library. at the moment.
I'm still talking, please. And so that's my feeling. I could be totally wrong, but we had heard that, and you had stated, and I didn't hear you say, at the meeting that I did hear that you didn't have any names, but I heard from the select meeting that you didn't want to be on this, and that was what was presented to us. So regardless of that, if you're changing your mind or that was not correct, then we need to get some clarification from John Spears. 1, 2, this is the first I heard that you were doing this, but I am going to say that I don't feel comfortable doing executive session via Zoom when you are here in town. If you're out on vacation, you have to do it, then I can understand, but I don't feel that that's necessary. And I understand you've got the library, but it's an hour's meeting, and so It's somehow there should be, where you're here physically and that you have coverage. That's my viewpoint, because I really am nervous about this, because I don't want
Yeah,
to,
it's a little disconcerting, yeah.
I don't want to tick people off, and I don't want to have us not have any people, and I just feel that it's not professional. I really have a problem.
I clarified this with John Spear. And he said he spoke to Sandy. I was at the select board meeting, left the room because he was attending via Zoom an executive session of the select board. Unfortunately, I'm obligated to be here and I'm unable to be in the room with you. If you meet here, I could be in the room with you, but that's not what you choose to do.
I'm back to the point about the John Spear piece, because I did talk to John Spear and he said to me that you were taking yourself off of the committee. And I said, okay. And I've heard nothing about it since from either him or you. I mean, I didn't know anything else but that you were off the committee. And
And when was that?
pardon me?
When did you speak to John?
I spoke to him. You have it?
Well, don't, but in our minutes from March 6th, Sandy reported that you, Penny, didn't want to be on the nominating committee, and so that you were no longer there, and then you also said you would not be nominating any candidates. That's in our
That's
minutes.
Correct. That's incorrect. I
Okay,
said
but
Go back to the.
that was what was
I'm
reported.
on the voting member of this committee, and that I had no nominees at the last meeting.
Well, I did watch the Zoom of that select board meeting where you spoke about not having anything to, not wanting to be on this committee. And that was actually what I heard you say. But I spoke to John after that because we didn't know at the last meeting whether it was even supposed to be a Zoom meeting here, because it was all kind of fuzzy about whether this was a working committee or a regular town committee. Now that I have that clarification, I know that this is what we're supposed to be doing by Zoom, but I never heard anything further from either you or John that you were back on the committee. So the last knowledge I had was watching that Zoom of the last select board meeting, or that select board meeting, and then talking with John sometime after that and prior to this meeting. So I've only had one conversation with him, so that was the one. And I guess what I would say, since there's confusion, is we should clarify it again with John and the select board. And I'm sorry, but I think we're probably going to have to just go into executive session right here.
I'm sorry, but I have not been told that I'm not a participating member of the nominating committee. And I do believe I have the right to attend the executive session
Can you call?
by the select board's rules about Zoom meetings. I don't think it's up to this committee to decide whether I can Zoom because I'm in town or not.
This would just cancel a meeting and get clarification.
Can you hang on? I'm going to try to call John right now.
Why we should just adjourn. So we on Have we gone off Zoom or are we still on Zoom?
What's that?
Are we off Zoom?
No, I think you're still recording.
Hey, John, it's Sandy Wiseman. I'm calling, we're at the nominating committee meeting right now.
Did you stop at the Yarmouth Library on your way back from Massachusetts?
Yes. And actually, I took a whole bunch of pictures. I sent them all to Gabe.
Yeah, it's on too.
And I got the floor plans, but the pictures and that.
I didn't like their kitchen store area,
Yeah,
wherever that
the
is.
kitchen is right here.
Yeah,
That was
okay.
very small, but I was impressed with the amount of stuff area that
Oh,
they
that
had.
way, that whole little area, Jacob.
And like the tiny store, it was, it used to be a closet or something.
Yeah.
So, and I felt, there was a lot of wasted space as far as the teenage section was concerned. You know, I like that they had their own little meeting room, but it was, all very open, like glass walls.
I
And
love
then,
the glass.
and there was an office right there, so they were never without supervision. And big windows and stuff, so they could do whatever they wanted, but and there was no game in there, it was just books. I guess it's a library, it's the community center.
Right, it's just a library. And because it's across the street from the school.
Yeah, it was not a very nice site, actually. There were roads on every corner.
What? Yeah, because the one side where the solar panels are, you maybe have that much grass.
They
It's
had
so
a
close to the.
patio, in one end, but it was not very big. And the benches that we saw, they are just it's for people waiting to be picked up. It's not really a place to socialize or.
But for the small lot it has, they maximized it.
Yeah, I think they had, actually an overabundance of space in there. And that big room at the end, the main room, with was it a fireplace or something, like big window, people, even saw somebody on their phone in that room, like reading room, it looks like it was very quiet area.
He's not available. I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Okay,
I second it.
Okay, Penny, we're going to adjourn the meeting until we get better clarification on this, because it's causing us some distress here. So it's 5:05. We will adjourn the meeting and I'll get back to you when I get clarification from John.
I will be talking to John also. Thank you.
Thanks.
live on the other one. And. Yeah, click it,
Come on, end.
it's not doing it.
Come on.